Hey, everybody. Happy October 30th, 2024. And guess what I did today? I did it. Now, why did you do that, Sandy? Well, there's a big part of me that hopes every vote actually does count. And then I'm also a big believer that you've got nothing to say about politics if you haven't gone out there at least casted a vote. And you notice how there's a lot of people out here that if their person doesn't win, they're just losing their shit over it, because it is what it is. Electoral college, so many other factors, whether it's a deep, dark agenda, whatever it may be. People don't like losing. But you can't be a part of the game of any of it if you're not out there casting some sort of vote towards some sort of change that you wish to see, and then concede gracefully if the person you voted for didn't win. I pulled back at least 15 years ago and took myself out of the two primary red and blues, put myself into the I category, the independent. I didn't realize that when I did that it would take me out of being able to vote on some things. And I was okay with that. I just did not want to be represented by a D or an R. And really the bottom line is, folks, most people are going to vote the way their parents voted and are going to stay in the red or the blue, whichever way their parents were. And they just grow up and follow suit. They don't step back and say, what is this actually all about? What do I believe in? What is it I want to see in the world? Who at this moment in time is in the arena that could possibly help me with change? And who do I vote for in that? And does it have to be within my political party? I say the answer is no to that. I do. I believe that the best person that I might believe is for the job or the position or would have the most pull might not be in a party that I might be in, but I would vote for them. And again, it was one of those things where I realized I was kind of voting the way my family voted. And a few decades into adulthood, I pumped the brakes big time and said, you know what, I don't want any party of those parties, because it's really not a party to me. So my little individual solo self was saying, I'm going to go into the I of the universe, the I of me, be independent, be able to flow a little bit, be a little bit different than some of the others. I have a lot of people I know that are diehard political, diehard sports, diehard this, diehard that. It's really hard on the system. It's hard on the system. But that might be what their system's made of. They have that exhilarating charge. It could be that they've created it, or it's been passed down to them and they feel like they've got to fight the good fight. But maybe that's not always the best approach. I'm not one of those people. So it's best that I don't put myself in the demographics of that kind of energy, because it's very harsh for me, especially as I've taken years of developing who I am in my own individual identity and learning how to get to know myself through thyself by casting out religion, politics, books, anything that I've learned from. I've told the story before, 2017, after meeting my higher self and communing in a completely different way with myself. It was like I had more wholeness to who I was and who I am. And Spirit said, can you wipe the slate clean? Can you not do what you've been doing through the conscious and subconscious learning that you've taken on? And my answer was yes. And from that day forward, I see things with different eyes, with a different sight, with a different part of my brain and my heart in a coherence that's very different than what I may have been prior to that culmination of events that took place in 2017. I still find it very difficult to pick up a book. So when I hear and I see things and I sense things and I read things and I listen to things and I visually take things in, it's very different how I come to, does this apply to me? Does this work for me in this moment? Do I agree, disagree? Where do I fit in with all of that? Can I still keep my independence and not be pulled into the direction that someone may be influencing my thoughts, which then take actions into my behavior? Can I still maintain my independent platform? So far, so good, and I'm gaining strength. And that's really because, again, I've stepped into my own. So it doesn't matter to me what the person to the left or to the right, or what family member, or what friends, or whatever anybody else wants to do, how they want to do it, what they believe in. I just look at everyone with love. And, 2020 to present was a huge example of that. And do you not? I always said, do the research, look at it yourself. First of all, look at what's in it, as in any of those. And if any of those materials don't seem to jive with here, then maybe that answer's no. And if you're doing it out of fear because everyone else is telling you, because everyone else technically did the research for you, which we know is impossible, right? I heard someone say recently, was it something like the pandemic was created for the vax, which wasn't true. The vax was created for the pandemic. It's actually the first one. The pandemic was created so that they could use the vax, because the vax was already there, prepared and ready, and everyone thought it was a miracle. So, whatever it is that you believe in that works for you, thought creates what is in your reality. But the question is, are they your thoughts? Are they truly your thoughts as an individual? Because everything that you've been taught up to this moment could be very false. And if you could just ask. Someone had a video out about the first man walking on the moon. Now I remember this. I was in grade school. And I remember seeing that first step and going, and everybody in my classroom, yay, wow, oh my God. And I said, who's filming that? I don't even know what the answer was. Then I saw what looked like that dune buggy, and I said, where did that come from? Where was that on that little space thingy where they only had barely any room to bounce around? Where did that come from? A couple of the boys go, oh, they built it. It all came with it. And basically I was, told to shut the hell up as a small child. It just scarred me. No, it did not. I just remember, and I always thought that was so weird. And then someone did a video on it recently asking the exact same thing. And I'm like, I didn't understand why half the people in this universe probably didn't ask the same questions. You just follow along and trust and believe, and you blindly believe that someone before you has more information that is in more truth than what you as an individual may have if you step back and start to create it yourself from just the moment that you're in. And then anything that you've learned from way back there, through whatever lineage, books, demographics, zip codes, whatever you've learned, is now, see, how does something apply to me in this moment? And create your own set of tools, techniques, and create new skills, through using new tools and new techniques and new sensories. So anyway, back to why I jumped on here, because, went and I did this. When I stood there today waiting for someone else to come out, who seemed to take forever, I was standing there next to these. So I had one in my hand and one in my hand for my friend. And I've never taken one of those in my life. I just did it. And I think people thought it worked there. So people were walking by like, all like their feathers cocked out. Like, yeah, I got in there. Yeah. And the interesting thing was, it was nice to see that exhilarant action through their walk and their expression of, I did something today. That it's my right to go and do that, whether it winds up in the fucking abyss or not. You did it. And if it makes somebody feel good, that they feel like they're contributing to their world in the way that they may know it, and let people have that. And those who choose not to, let them have that too. Let them have that too. I literally told my friend that I drove to early voting, I said, listen, if you don't know who to vote for, don't vote for anybody, because I leave it blank. She's like, how do you do that? I said, I just do. Because if I can't choose, I'm not going to take a chance of choosing the wrong one. But if I really don't know, I don't know. So I don't want to support somebody that I don't know anything about. But this year had some school board things, and we all know what happened in the last 4 years. And some of these teachers and teachers unions supported heavy stuff. So I didn't want to see them there, because they weren't broad-minded. They were locked in and crusading and squelching the creativity of our children, and shaming them and shaming their parents if there was a particular choice or non-choice. And so that, to me, called me out to do what I wanted to do today, in hopes that that portion, that one dot, makes a diff. We are only one individual. Collectively, we can make a difference. But this is also all about the energy that's being created through this process of what we're gearing up to. Now, if you want to know more about planetary alignments, I suggest you tune in to my friend Chanda Sparkles. You can find her on YouTube and Facebook. She's amazing and always has some funny twists about things. And you can understand maybe where we are planetarily on why now is the way it is. We've also got Halloween, which is, Day of the Dead, which is not that the dead are coming back to scare you, it's honoring those who have passed over. I just had the pleasure of spending a week at Chanda's, and we went and did that down in Texas. And it meant a lot to a lot of people, and it really touched my heart to be a part of that, because I never really truly was a part of that. And then I've got friends who celebrate Diwali, which is a little bit different. But it's all around this time. And so it was turned into, something that was spooky and scary. And Halloween, you get a trick or a treat. And then, of course, we have whole Catholicism thing that needed to make it Saints' Day. So there's a big umbrella of things happening right now, you know, in our climate and planetarily wise. So anyway, I gotta run, you guys. I gotta do carpool for a friend, help out. And so much love to each and every one of you. Do you. And be cool with being independent. Be cool with stepping aside. And you know what? Right now I'm looking at one of those new Tesla thingies. Those are the ugliest looking vehicles I have ever seen in my life. And yet people are buying them, and I don't understand it. But then again, maybe in the future, all the vehicles are going to look as ugly as those, and we're going to have to get used to it. That's scary. All right, guys, please like, subscribe, and share. I'll see each of you on the next video.